Yo, what's up everyone? It's Coach Abrish here, founder of Mythical Gains, back with another banger. And in this video, we're gonna go through Joao's transformation, CEO of Media Gains, how he lost actually 50 pounds in 6 months, and how he doubled his natural energy levels while adding 40% to his revenue. Okay, so those who don't know me yet or haven't seen me speaking yet, I'm Abrish Bobits, founder of Mythical Gains, and we help entrepreneurs, business owners, business professionals add at least 40% to their business output, meanwhile losing 30 pounds of body fat and gaining at least 8 pounds of lean muscle. Okay, let's get into it, how we achieved this transformation over here with Joao. So you can see this guy over here, absolutely proud of him. So if you want to have these veins, have these abs, have this kind of V-shaped fighter type of body, okay, how do you achieve that? If you have limited time, maybe less than 3 hours, even less than 2 hours per week, not per day, per week, then it might be a little bit tricky for you, but actually it's very easy with our methods called the Demi Cycle Protocol. But let's get into the specifics. So how do you double your energy levels? How do you increase your business output, meanwhile losing weight? So how all of these are interconnected. So I created a little, let's call it a graph for you, or diagram, because I wanted a visual representation of what we are actually doing here and how we achieve this, and how you can actually copy paste the system and use it for your own lifestyle. You can transform your own body, your own business, and your own energy levels. Okay, but let's get started. What is the first point we always start with? That's your mindset. And I know it sounds a little bit cliche, like everybody's talking about mindset, but no, let's simplify it as much as possible. So when I talk about mindset, I actually talk about identity, right? You just imagine where you want to be in 6 months. You want to have a six-pack, right? You want to lose weight. You want to have a V-shaped body. You want to be energetic. You want to focus better on your business. You want to get compliments from your wife. You want to get more respect from your team. You really want to be seen as an authority, right? As a CEO, this is the most important thing for you because you are the face of your own brand. You distribute the values of your company. So, of course, you don't want to get overweight, lazy, complacent, right? You want to be jacked, healthy, and energetic. But okay, how do you get this new identity? How can you brainwash yourself into, okay, I am jacked, I am lean, I am energetic, I am a jacked and wealthy machine. Okay, so it doesn't happen through affirmations, just to make sure. It happens through healthy habits, hacking your brain into repeating the same activities over and over and over again that we call habits, using those neural pathways. But okay, why it is so hard in the beginning, right? So we want to take up a new habit. You want to replace your old unhealthy habits that keep holding you back, right? What do you do then? Okay, so the reason why it is difficult in the beginning, because your brain is your most stubborn and the laziest organ, so it always sticks to those neural pathways which are the lowest in energy. So we call them habits, repeating the same activities over and over again. And each time you want to take up a new activity and you want to transform it into a regular activity, so a habit, it will take lots of energy for your brain in the beginning. So you have to force yourself to repeat it over and over and over again, and it takes you an average of 21 days to have it transformed into a low energy activity, so a habit. So it won't be so difficult for your brain anymore to actually practice that new habit. And ultimately, okay, you have this new identity, you have these new habits, but how do you increase business performance? But like, what even is business performance, right? We can say average order values, for example, if you are running an e-com business, or it could be revenue, of course, because everybody sells something, or it could be number of clients, or burn rate, churn rate, and so on and so on. So many different KPIs, so many different metrics, but we can agree on one thing. If you make more money, your business improved. Congratulations, your business performance went up. But okay, how do we achieve that, right? Because business performance is an output metric. How do we get more output? Usually, we do more input and more quality input. So how to increase input? You have to increase, you can see it over here, down here, your energy levels. Okay, but how do we influence your energy level? So there are tons of different ways that you can see over here in this graph, but let me calm you down a little bit and just tell you that in reality it's very simple, and yeah, it couldn't be any more simple than this. So first of all, if you want to feel, look, and perform much better in your body, you have to lose fat for that. The leaner you are, the better you feel in your body, the more confident you are, the easier it is to actually use your brain and perform. Countless studies have shown that people with a lower amount of body fat to a certain threshold, which I would say 10% for men, that's a lower threshold, perform much better in business and make decisions with much more confidence and much faster. So what you want to do is to enhance this decision making and creative and productive aspect of your brain just by simply losing fat and becoming more active. But of course, that's not the only influencer when it comes to losing fat. So it just generally makes you feel more confident and more one with your body and more active, faster. And if you move faster, you think faster. So look at the workout routines of the most high-performing entrepreneurs. Like, I'm talking about billionaires over here. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, or for example, Jeff Bezos. All of the workout routines are like very quick and rigorous. They involve plenty of cardio as well, because they need their brains to perform as fast as possible. And you need your brain to perform as fast as possible if you want to scale up your company. So let's see what kind of methods have we used with Zhao to lose 50 pounds in 6 months. So imagine losing 8 to 10 pounds per month. That completely transforms your identity. You can, like, two different people on these two pictures, right? So you definitely want to achieve the same to be a new person, but for a new person you need no habits. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, what I really want to emphasize is that no fad diets. No keto, no paleo, no carnivore, no veganism, no whatever you make up, Atkins diet, and so on and so on. So no. Why? We don't want you to eat in a very restricted way. So if you eliminate certain types of food, certain nutrients from your diet, what will be the end result? You might lose some fat, yes, but you will gain it all back, and we definitely want to avoid it. Why? Because if your diet feels like a chore, if your diet feels like a torture, then once you are over with your diet, which you should never be over with it, but once, let's say, you're off keto, and you start eating carbs, you start stuffing your face with cakes and sugary stuff, you will gain it all back. So it didn't last long. You want a long-lasting, sustainable lifestyle. And of course, it starts with long-lasting, sustainable nutrition habits. So I won't tell you, okay, stop drinking beer, stop drinking Coke, stop doing this, stop doing that, stop eating your favorite cakes, favorite foods, and so on. No, it doesn't work like that. So what we do is just a very, very simple, as you can see it over here, 80-20 approach. So 80% of the time we are eating like clean, whole foods, and 20% of the time, that's reserved for indulgences. And no strict calorie or macro counting, because of course calories and macros could matter to a certain degree, but what really matters is having protein as your main focus. Why? Because that's the building block of your muscles. You want higher muscle mass. Why? Because that will increase your daily calories burned. So that increases your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. So you are burning more calories without doing anything, without doing cardio, without doing any of these activities. You're already burning more calories if you have a higher muscle mass. That's a massive win-win, bro. So definitely go for, nerds might say that, okay, you have to go for 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per day. But the reality is that who wants to count macros that way, right? Who wants to do this hard and heavy math every single day? You don't have to. If you're a man of average height and of an average body fat, which is like kind of high today, like between 20 to 25% or 20 to 30%, you know that you have a certain amount of lean mass that you don't have to calculate, but 150 grams of protein should be enough for you. And even if you eat like 200 grams of protein a day, there is no possible way that you will end up being hungry, because it satiates you. You will be full, you will feel full, and you don't really want to snack anymore. You don't want to emotionally eat anymore because you will feel full with those proteins. By the way, it's really hard to eat more than 200 grams of protein per day unless you're like 6'5" and you weigh 250 pounds and you are basically just a giant. But yeah, let's not base an entire program on odd one outs, but of course I have some tips for tall guys as well. Might be eating a bit more protein. But yeah, if you're a man of average height, 150 to 200 grams per day should be enough for you. All right. What else did we use for fat loss? So as you can see it over here, very intense training session. So it's not about copying the routines of, let's say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like elite athletes in bodybuilding or powerlifting or CrossFit and so on and so on. No, because these are like very high volume. These are written for people who use steroids and so on. But you want to transform your body naturally and achieve that lean and shredded and muscular physique naturally. But how do you do that? You have to focus on intensity, because intense workouts, first of all, they burn a bunch of calories. Secondly, it's a much more efficient way of growing your muscles and developing your physique. Why? Because the harder you train, the more you stimulate your muscles. And the harder you train, the less you can train. Just like the faster you run, the less distance you can cover. So that's the difference between, for example, a sprinter and a marathon runner. And what we also did were interval cardio training. So if you think that like monotonous steady state cardio is boring for you, okay, let me introduce you to the Russian ladders. So this is a very advanced, and I wouldn't say advanced at the beginning, but it's an infinitely customizable type of cardio which burns plenty of calories. So pick 3 exercises, maybe 3 that you can do at home. For example, push-ups, pull-ups, and squats. So just pick 1 exercise for press, 1 exercise for pull, and 1 exercise for legs. So we are moving through your entire body and doing cardio that way. So you do 1 rep of the first one, so 1 push-up, 1 rep of the second one, 1 pull-up. If you can't do a pull-up, you can do a half range of motion pull-up, or you can do inverted rows, or whatever. So feel free to be creative over here, and it's very key to choose easy exercises that you can easily do at least 10 reps, because it gets more difficult. So you do 1 push-up, 1 pull-up, 1 leg exercise, so 1 bodyweight squat, for example. And what do you do when you are finished with that? All right. So you do these 1-1-1 reps without rest in between, and then you rest or pause for like 30 seconds. And after that, you do 2-2-2 with no rest. Then you pause for 30 seconds again. Then you do 3-3, rest, 4-4-4, rest, and so on and so on. You keep climbing up this ladder. That's why it's called a Russian ladder. You will keep climbing this up until you reach 10-10-10. And by that time, it's supposed to be very, very difficult. And you keep climbing this ladder up and down. By the way, when you reach 10, you can start it all over again. It's important to mention. So once you started climbing this ladder and you keep doing it, just stop after 20 to 30 minutes. That should be enough. You will feel like spitting out your lungs in the beginning, but it burns so much calories and puts you into that fat loss zone, when even after finishing the workout, you will still keep on burning fat. So delay eating or drinking your post-workout just a little bit after this workout, like 15-20 minutes. Just be in the zone, let your breath normalize, let you sweat a little bit. But yeah, this is extremely intense, very good, but it shouldn't be very difficult at the beginning. So you pick your exercises, you put it together for yourself. Russian ladder is not a specific workout. This is a structure that you can use for your cardio sessions. And if you do just 2 to 3 of these per week, you're all set. All right, next one, martial arts. That was specifically something we used for Joao because he's a fighter. And of course, to prepare for his matches, we couldn't only do these kind of bodybuilding style or gym style workouts. That was like 1.5 hour out of his entire week. So the rest all went to martial arts. Great for increasing your combat endurance, your cardio, and really it also burns a lot of fat. So if you have the inclination to try some martial arts, definitely do it. So but okay, we told a lot about movement, we told a lot about diet, but what about metabolism? Because a lot of you guys come to me and say that I have a slow metabolism, I cannot lose fat, what do I do? Okay, your metabolism is not slow because of your genetics or things that you cannot change. Actually, your metabolism is slow because of things that you have an influence over. So you can actually affect these things, you can actually change these things, and you can definitely boost your metabolism. What we did for Joao was green tea and black coffee before 3 p.m. Why before 3 p.m.? Because we didn't really want to interfere with his sleep because of the caffeine. But before that, he drank a lot of these, and after each meal, to get his digestion going, he went for just a quick 5-minute walk. Also, we took care of proper hydration. A few words about hydration. So hydration is not about how much water you drink. It's about how much water your body actually uses. So let me get this straight. So how much water you need is pretty much easy. So how much water you need is your body weight in pounds divided by 45, or your body weight in kilograms divided by 20. That's how many liters of water you should drink a day. It's pretty simple. I really recommend to distribute it all along the day, so you don't have like one large dosage of hydration, extending your stomach, not really feeling good, then immediately sweating and pissing it out. That doesn't make sense, right? So you want to take small sips, you want to distribute it, you spread it over all over the day, and once you're finished with that, you will be much more evenly hydrated. And it also depends on humidity, on the weather, on temperature, right? Because if you live in a very hot climate, or like subtropical, like Texas or Florida, that's completely different. Because there, if you happen to work out outdoors, and yeah, you do a full body session, very intense, up to 40 minutes, right, with supersets, drop sets, and so on, then you might as well drink like 1 to 2 liters of water only in that 40 minutes of working out. So of course, hydration varies, but you already know the ideal numbers: body weight in pounds divided by 45, and that's how many liters have you drink. But okay, how to make sure that your body actually uses that water, right? So you definitely want to double down on salts and electrolytes. So sodium, magnesium, potassium. Always take care that you have the proper levels of these electrolytes in your body, especially sodium, because you want to take up this water. You don't only want to piss it out or sweat it out, but yeah, as long as your urine is like light or transparent, you're hydrating well. Okay, and the result is less fat and more muscle. Why? Because if you keep doing these workouts, and if you keep eating high protein, your muscles will get stronger. Stronger muscle is a bigger muscle. A bigger muscle consumes more calories. Just for maintaining that muscle, you need more calories per day, so you can actually eat more while losing fat. Does it sound good? I think it does. But let's go back to energy levels. So now you know how to lose fat fast, how to make it as rapid as possible, meanwhile not really taking up a lot of your time, because I know you're busy. I know you have to attend meetings, calls, and so on, so you don't really have time to be a gym rat, and I don't want you to be one either. So let's see what else influences your energy levels. Yes, one of the biggest influencers, if not the absolutely biggest, is sleep. So how well you sleep is not how much you sleep. It's always quality over quantity. So your deep and efficient 7 hours could be better than someone else's, shallow 9 to 10 hours. So it's really important how you sleep and how you optimize it, and how you make it as simple as possible. So first of all, what we did with Joe was acknowledging, as I said before, more doesn't equal better, and we focused on sleep quality. And first of all, let's talk about some daytime strategies for better sleep, because ultimately what influences your sleep quality is your sleep hormone, your melatonin levels. But your melatonin levels are highly influenced by the actions you do during the day. So the more physical movement you get in, the more tired you get, the more melatonin your brain will release. Okay, but what else? So the more sunlight you get, also the more melatonin, the more sleep hormone you produce. So that's why I say at least 20 to 30 minutes of sun exposure per day is non-negotiable. You need to get your D vitamins, you need to get your testosterone up, you need to get your cells recovered. Yes, so for many different immune functions and cell functions, you need vitamin D, but sunlight is not the only thing that influences your sleep, right? And melatonin is not the only thing that's influenced by sunlight. So vice versa, it's true. But what else you can do beyond sunlight? Okay. The biggest enemy of your very well planned sun exposure is actually blue light. So the lights coming from your screens are limiting your ability to produce sleep hormone, especially in the last hour spent awake before bed. So that's why at that time I would recommend limiting the use of any kind of devices. But if you can't afford to do that because you have to do work in the evening as well, or you have urgent messages to deal with, no problem. What I recommend is just invest in a pair of blue light blocking glasses because they really help you to filter out the blue lights. Because even if you use dark mode on your devices, they don't really provide a full protection against blue lights. And anyway, they won't filter 100% the blue light. So yeah, dark mode is, I'm not saying it's a scam, but definitely not the most beneficial for you. All right, but let's see what else you can do during the day. Strategy for caffeine. So as I mentioned before, when we were boosting Zhao's metabolism and how you can also boost your own metabolism, coffee and green tea are amazing. So I'm not the type of coach who tells you that, okay, stop drinking caffeine because blah, blah, blah. No, drink caffeine and know how to use it, right? It sounds much better. And as I said before, I'm not a big fan of eliminations because they never work sustainably in the long term. And you want to last it long, right? So why would you cut out caffeine? Instead, use it smart. So you need to acknowledge that caffeine has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours. What does it mean? That 6 to 8 hours after consumption, half of it will still be in your bloodstream. And what's bad about it, it also interferes with your brain's melatonin production. So even though you have quite a decent amount of sleep hormones produced, it can still be suppressed by caffeine. So what I recommend is not to drink caffeine 6 hours within bedtime. So not to interfere with your sleep hormone production. Okay, but what else can you do? So if you say that, okay, Abrish, I'm still feeling tired and sluggish in the afternoon, I need some extra boost, something which is then not caffeine, then for sure, go for herbs like ginseng or rhodiola. Both of these are adaptogenic herbs, which gives you some extra mental focus and extra muscle power as well. So you can actually substitute caffeine without having any stimulant effects on your brain. So it's very important to be aware of these because you can always find a solution for any of your problems during the day. But definitely cut out caffeine, also nicotine and alcohol if you can, 6 hours before sleep. Why? Because you might fall asleep easier after a bottle of red wine, right? But it will completely destroy your rapid eye movement phase, so the REM phase of your sleep, which is responsible for decision making, creativity, and learning and memorizing. So you really don't want to mess up your brain with alcohol the night before. So that's why I would say go for healthier options, like for example chamomile tea. We're going to talk about that very soon. So yeah, these are the techniques we used. Energy boosting with ginseng and rhodiola, as I mentioned before, avoiding blue light. And yeah, here comes the juicy stuff. So one thing which is, I know I even like to be flexible and you like to be flexible as well, but there's one thing that you have to be ruthlessly consistent with if you want to optimize your sleep and improve your energy levels. So ultimately you can make more money in your business, you can become a jacked millionaire. But yeah, guys, we have to admit we need consistent bedtimes. So that's why I say stop using alarm clocks in the morning, stop doing morning routines. Instead, do bedtime routines, do pre-bed routines, and time your bedtime. What do I mean by time your bedtime? So schedule it. Know in advance when you will be going to bed and when you will fall asleep. It's your biggest life hack. So where do we get started? So if you want to maintain a healthy biorhythm, or it is also called circadian rhythm, then you want consistent bedtimes, and you usually want to synchronize it with the sun and the moon. But yeah, it's not that easy, right? So what I recommend to you is not to change it immediately and drastically. Always change it on a weekly basis with increments of 15 minutes back and forth, right? So if you've been going to bed, let's say at midnight, next week try at 11:45, and the week after you will try 11:30, and you're slowly adjusting your body to another circadian rhythm, because it's very important to have these consistent bedtimes every single night, even on the weekends, so your body will associate the time of the day, also your brain will associate that time of the day with going to bed and falling asleep. So it's all about habits and routines, as I mentioned before. Alright, but what else did we do? What was the famous pre-bed routine that was done by Joao as well, and how it helped him with his business? So yeah, bunch of stuff over here. I'm gonna go through it as quickly and as efficiently as possible so you can note down what really matters. So first of all, we did a pre-bed routine or bedtime routine, which can be actually really short. It can be really simplified. So I will also try to simplify this for you. So 3 very important things. First, we calm down the body, then we calm down the nerves, and then finally we soothe the brain and rewire it to sleep. So we prepare the entire body in a couple of minutes for sleep, or maximum in 30 minutes. That's the longest pre-bed routine that you should do. Sometimes a bit longer if you also include like reading and journaling. But let's get into it. Let's get into the first step. What we do is, first of all, breath work. We want to calm down your body, and we start with your rib cage and your lungs. So breath work is the 5-5-5 method, what we used for deep breathing exercise. You inhale slowly for 5 seconds, you hold at the top for 5 seconds, and then you slowly exhale another 5 seconds, right? Pretty simple. Then we did some leg and lower back stretches with some specific exercises which helped a lot for Joao, but there are dozens of exercises, for example, in the Demi Cycle Protocol exercise library as well, that help you with loosening up your lower back and also your hip abductors and your legs. Why it is important? Because many people, even though they are sleeping quite good, they have their sleep phases, the light sleep, the REM sleep, the deep sleep, pretty much dialed in, but they still wake up in the morning not feeling well rested. So they keep saying that, okay, I felt like a phone on like 60% battery. That's not that good, right? Because you are doing lots of movements during your sleep. So it's either because you're not tired enough or you haven't stretched down properly the previous day. So what you can do is practicing a couple of hip mobility, lower back stretches, and leg stretches to make sure your body parts are not really moving during your sleep. You're not running in your dreams and stuff like that, right? So what's really important is that it's risky if you don't do these stretches. It's very risky if you are still moving during your sleep, because it can eventually lead to the so-called restless leg syndrome, and it's very hard to recover from, and it really fucks up your sleep. So you don't want to get there. Do your stretches. Okay, next step, a warm shower. Just 5 minutes, completely enough. Calming yourself down, enhancing your muscle recovery, soothing your body, and it just makes your body feel like sleeping. So it's very difficult, especially for high performers, entrepreneurs, to switch off from work mode and go into chill mode. So recently we've been working with a client with portfolio of companies in the blockchain, and he had difficulties. He's been dealing with the problem of not being able to switch off and switch into sleep mode by the end of the day, and it's really annoying, right? So this kind of routine with the breath work, with the stretches, and then the warm shower, it's a game changer because you can actually feel like, okay, now it's time to go to sleep and stop thinking about work. But is that simple? Not really, because you have a nervous system, right? So, but the good news is that the nervous system is the easiest to calm down. So if you have the right tools, for example, chamomile tea, because of the epinogen, sorry, and the valerian root tea because of many antioxidants and many materials which help you to calm down your central nervous system, which is very important, especially for your recovery and your brain health. So if you have these tools on hand, this chamomile tea, valerian root tea, and a couple of supplements, for example, we had him take magnesium glycinate, glycine or L-theanine, it depends on what works better for you, and also optional, if you still don't feel very well rested when you wake up in the morning and you want to avoid that, definitely GABA or this GABA is very, very useful for you. So these are the supplements, these are the types of teas that I recommend before sleeping, and this is what we use with Joao, especially the chamomile tea, that was his favorite. That's my personal favorite as well, but you can always decide between chamomile or valerian root. I think for quality, both of them are equal, so I can't really make a difference. This is just a taste preference for me. What does magnesium glycinate do? Magnesium glycinate, of course, calms down your nerves, but what does glycine and L-theanine do? So these are amino acids. Both of them are amino acids, which help you with the recovery of your brain, the recovery of your muscles, and not only with falling asleep, but actually staying asleep, extending your rapid eye movement, the REM phase, where most of the brain recovery happens. And this is where you gain a better ability for making decisions. This is when you enhance your creativity. This is when you experience your best dreams, which you can actually control. And dreaming is very important for actually learning and getting better at business, because the more vivid your dreams are, the better you can execute during the day. So the better you can put your thoughts, you can manifest your thoughts into reality if you dream well. And just interesting statistics for you guys. So usually your brain sees 8 to 10 dreams a night, but you don't remember them. You remember like 0 to 2 of them. But if you take glycine between like 3 to 10 grams per day, per night, then you will end up remembering 3 to 5 of your dreams. And most of your dreams, you control them. So that's the best thing about glycine and getting your sleep dialed in. Better dreams, better brain capacity, and better focusing energy the other day. All right. And what is the step 3 of the pre-bed routine, which we haven't talked about yet? It's, to be honest, very simple, calming down your brain with some reading, some journaling. There's one thing I want to say, that you don't really want to read something hard, business or science, or something that, keeps your brain going and keeps your creative part, keeps your cortex really activated, because then your brain will be thinking about it, and it won't be really wired for sleep. So just always read something light, something fiction, something not too heavy for your brain before falling asleep. So if you want to read about, let's say, computational algebra before falling asleep, then you might need to reconsider your pre-bed routine. But anyway, let's continue. And finally, just a few thoughts about additional sleep recommendations I would tell you. So first of all, tracking. Always track the quality of your sleep, no matter what kind of tools you are using. So primarily, why do I keep tracking, or why do I say that you should track your sleep? Why do my clients track their sleep? So what gets managed, or what gets measured gets managed. All right. So it looks like if you don't know the data, if you don't know the numbers, and you can't keep track of your sleep, it's just very difficult to say that, okay, tomorrow morning I felt not that bad, could be better, and so on and so on. You definitely need to put that into numbers. And how you can do that is you can either try wearable devices like an Oura Ring, a Whoop Band, an Apple Watch, and so on and so on. You can try some sleep tracking apps, or you might as well consider a sleep diary. If you need a sleep diary, just write me a DM and I will send you over a template. You can fill it out for yourself. It takes like 5 minutes per day, but that's why I recommend getting an Oura Ring or a Whoop Band, because it does the calculations for you, it does the heavy math for you, it does the recommendations for you. So you can see a full picture of your health or your sleep and your daily movement without having to put that into an Excel sheet and drawing the consequences for yourself. So that's why I would say it's much better and much more time efficient. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about the setup. So how can you sleep the best? One thing to remember is cold, dark, and quiet. That's the only thing you have to take care of when it comes to your sleeping environment and basically your setup for sleep. So cold, you want to keep it between 60 to 65 Fahrenheit, so like 16 to 18 Celsius, if my conversion is correct. And you also want to be in a dark place, so pitch black room or just maybe little lights over there. You don't want to mess up with your eyes and don't want to mess up with your brain that, okay, is it daylight, so we are not sleeping right now, because that's what your brain thinks. And also the next thing is quiet. And what does quiet mean? So quiet doesn't necessarily mean silent. So it's not silent, it's just monotonous. That's what quiet means. So if you have a white noise machine, or if you can play nature sounds, or your room is in such a quiet and monotonous environment that there are no cars on the street, you are living in the middle of nowhere, then yeah, you can go that way as well. But I would definitely recommend for those who have lots of like external noises, disturbances during their sleep, to invest in a white noise machine or just play some nature sounds, because this kind of soothing, melancholic, like monotonous environment really helps you to fall asleep and actually stay asleep, not to have a fragmented sleep, so not to wake up too often during the night. All right, bedding material, that's also a very important part of the setup. All you need to remember is ergonomic and memory foam, and the harder the better. These are my three main principles. This is what my clients are using as well. So ergonomic is good for your back. Memory foam remembers your shape and it sinks in a way that you are taking up different sleeping positions. And of course, why a hard mattress is better, because it won't really cause much disturbances in your lower back or in different joints, different muscles. You won't wake up because of pain and discomfort. So a harder mattress is much better than a soft one, which ends up kind of like breaking your back and not feeling so comfortable with it. So don't fall for the scam of soft pillows and mattresses. Definitely not good for your body, not good for your neck mobility, not good for your spine. And you really need to be cautious about these, because most people, they don't really have proper bedding material, and then they wonder that, okay, why they wake up in pain, why they wake up in discomfort. So it's very important to pay attention to these, but of course this is not your number one priority. So as long as you don't have your daytime habits and your bedtime routine dialed in, don't bother with bed sheets yet, right? So okay, remember this. And okay, let's talk about the results. So what this gentleman was able to achieve with these sleep strategies, with these strategies for his daytime energy levels, with these weight loss methods. So as I mentioned before, he lost 50 pounds in 6 months. It took a huge, I'm not even saying it took a huge effort, but a huge change in identity. So one day you wake up and you decide that you are not overweight anymore. This is not part of your identity. That's not who you are. That's not the face of your business. That's an old person. That's an entirely different person, right? So your new identity will be a jacked, lean, healthy, and happy entrepreneur, just like Joao. So if you want to look like this, you have to imagine yourself looking like this and create this new identity. What else did we achieve? So because of his higher energy levels, because of his doubled focus on his highest ROI activities, he was able to work with more clients. So if you work with more clients, you make more money. And eventually you can over deliver your clients so much that you can charge higher prices. So what do? You make more money. And then, of course, Joao also achieved his peak fighting shape and performance. And fun fact, in a couple of days, he's gonna be having a match, a countdown against a very strong opponent. So yeah, heads up for Joao. And I'm not saying you have to be a fighter as well to lose weight. You don't have to do kickboxing, MMA, or any of these if you want to lose 8 to 10 pounds per month in a sustainable way. Because why it is important is once this kind of fighting season will be over for Zhao, he will still keep his diet because it consisted all of the same things that he liked before. He's still eating ice cream, he's still eating watermelon, no keto, no paleo, no restrictions. So that's the key takeaway from this, that once you have your fat loss, your energy levels, and your sleep dialed in, it's much easier to progress in business. And this progress is sustainable because you're not stopping with a diet, because this is not a diet at all. These are sustainable eating habits that you can keep for the rest of your life. So once you have these systems in place, you don't have to go for a fat diet again. You don't have to try keto, paleo, carnivore, stuff like that ever again in your life. So that's why we keep using these methods, and these are timeless, these are always working, and these are the different routines that we implemented in the Demi Cycle Protocol, which by now has helped more than 50 entrepreneurs change their health, their physique, and ultimately their life and their business performance. So if you are interested in getting this system implemented in your life, in your lifestyle, in your work, in your business, and you feel like it would be too overwhelming to copy paste that and to do it for yourself and to have these kind of years of trials and errors, then feel free to book a call with us in the description below, or follow one of the links to my Twitter or Instagram and send us a direct message, and let's chat about your health goals. Thank you so much. Have a great day.